Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhara Srivasadi Gaura Bhaktavrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. Been enthusiastically awaiting this moment to be with you. I am so very grateful to each and every one of you. There is no greater happiness than seeing sincere devotees I'm very weak today, so I can only speak good stuff. There's no greater happiness than seeing devotees together serving Srila Prabhupada's wonderful movement. Bringing each other joy in doing so. Whatever it is, just let it be. Srila Prabhupada was so deeply grateful to anyone who helped him in the service of his Guru Maharaj. There were times where he shed tears of emotion while thanking all of his devotees for assisting him in the service of his Guru Maharaj. Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada gave him this instruction at their first meeting, 1922. You are an educated young man. Please bring the message of Lord Chaitanya in the English language to the Western world. At that time, Srila Prabhupada was recently married and just had a child. He was posted at both laboratories in Calcutta. His Holiness Satsvarup Goswami Maharaj has so beautifully shared with the world forever the story of Srila Prabhupada's life. How is it possible? At that time, India was under British control. It was practically impossible for an Indian person to come to the West to preach. And actually, some years later, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur sent some of his disciples to London and to Germany. But even before that, Srila Prabhupada received this instruction. Those who were sent were all sannyasis, brahmacharis. So it was 43 years later, when he was 69 years old, that he boarded Jaladuta to carry out this mission. And even after 43 years of preparation, everything he was doing just didn't seem to work. I started Back to Godhead magazine in English. We tried to develop a temple in Jhansi and make that a world headquarters, but then that was taken away. We stayed in little rooms of Vamsi Gopal temple and then Radha Damodar temple in Vrindavan. And in Mumbai, he was given a ticket 43 years later. And the final interaction he ever had with his Guru Maharaj was exactly the same as the first interaction. 1936, December. Srila Prabhupada was living in Mumbai, and he wrote a letter to his Guru Maharaj in Jagannath Puri that you have so many brahmachari sannyasis who have given their lives. I have wife, children, occupation. How can I serve you best? I reply, you're educated young man. Bring the message of Lord Chaitanya in the Western world in English. Exactly the same as their first meeting. And just 2 weeks after Srila Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur wrote that letter, he left this world. December 31st. Late at night, early morning of the junction between 1936 and 1937. And we know how Srila Prabhupada actually had nothing and no one to help him. Some of the senior-most people of his Guru Maharaj's movement tried, but they all came back because it didn't really work. Sometimes Srila Prabhupada would say he came to New York because it was the most important city in the world. Other times he would say, I came to New York because that's where Sumati Maharaji gave me a free ticket. And another time, Srila Prabhupada said, my godbrothers, everyone, they all went to London, but they didn't do much. So I was thinking, if I fail, let me fail in a new place. Srila Prabhupada was so grateful for anyone who helped him. And even some years later, after our movement was growing all over the world, he would look at his devotees with tears, especially on disappearance and appearance days of his Guru Maharaj. Srila Prabhupada would say, I see all of you as representatives of my Guru Maharaj, because you are helping me to carry out the order of my Guru. This is the way Srila Prabhupada evaluated in this material world. We evaluate by how people directly or indirectly facilitate for me to acquire or gain. Might be gaining health, maybe gaining money, might be gaining fame, influence, sense gratifications. But Srila Prabhupada, his standard of value is how people help to serve his Guru Maharaj's wish. He didn't present it like, because you're helping me. He helped because you're helping to carry on my Guru Maharaj's wish. When we read on Jaladuta in his prayers, he was looking out at the skyline of Boston. It was quite intimidating. He's on this very old cargo ship coming from Calcutta and Vrindavan, and he's looking at this 10,000 miles away from home. Now we don't think 10,000 miles is so much because we just jump on airplanes. But at that time, he had never left India in his entire life. Until he got on that cargo ship, he had never left India. He had never flown in an airplane. 38 days at sea. And now he's looking out. And he knows that actually he doesn't know a single person in America that has any inclination toward bhakti. Even the person he was visiting, as far as he knew, he had no inclination toward bhakti. He was just on his father's demand, allowing Prabhupada to come to his house. He didn't even stay in his house. He stayed in a little cheap hotel. So Prabhupada was looking out and praying to Krishna. Only if you give me the power to speak your words, Krishna, and you give these people in the modes of passion and ignorance, if you give them the understanding of your words. He was praying only for that. Let me be your puppet. Anyone who helped him is so profoundly grateful. It was a movement of gratitude, and that's the way it should always be. Devotees who were coming from a society where they had no idea what the goal of human life was. Prabhupada was giving them the sweetest, highest, most complete revelation of Dharma. He was bringing Vrindavan to them. They were so grateful. I remember Malati Devi Prabhu once was saying, which one of the first lectures she attended of Srila Prabhupada in 1967. Srila Prabhupada said there is no happiness in this material. And that struck her heart so deeply. Yes, that's it. Nobody else was saying that in America at that time. Everyone is promising happiness. Every television commercial, every hoarding or billboard, every store you go in, everyone is trying to somehow promise you happiness. They're trying to get you to give something for that happiness. If you have this college degree, you'll be happy. If you have this car, you'll be happy. eyes closed, you'll be happy. If you join this political party, you'll be happy. If you join this religion, you'll be happy. If you use this toothpaste, you'll be happy. Prabhupada says there's no happiness in this world. So what is everybody struggling for? He just, with one little sentence, he exposed everything. And he describes how we are the eternal soul, we're part of Krishna, and our nature is to be our nature happiness is transcending all the desires to be happy in this world, and seeking our happiness not in being the enjoyer, but being a servant of Krishna. A very profound concept that is so revolutionary to the heart and mind. Everyone is trying to be happy by enjoying. And Srila Prabhupada is giving us Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Shri Shri Radha Govinda's message. You can't be happy by trying to enjoy. Real happiness is in serving with love. So this teaching and Srila Prabhupada's kindness and the way he was presenting his teachings was so revolutionary. Devotees felt immediately liberated just by hearing this and being with him. They are so grateful. And yet more than devotees were grateful to him for rescuing their lives and opening the doors to Goloka Vrindavan. Srila Prabhupada was grateful to each devotee because he felt himself, he was carrying the message of Vrindavan, but he had no one. And these devotees, even as fallen as they may have been in the past, they were coming to help him. They were coming to help to carry on the order of his Guru Maharaj. Yavashayatmaka buddhireke hakurunandana ubushaka hinantascha buddhayo yavashaya. One who is on this path is resolute in purpose. Aim is one. The intelligence of those who are diverted is many branched. And Srila Prabhupada, from the purport of Srila Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur, he taught us this means to make the order, the will of our Guru, our life and soul. And how Srila Prabhupada exemplified that. The order of his Guru was his life and soul. Sometimes we use words, but we don't really grasp the depth of these words. This sentence, my life and soul, that means everything. How much do we value our life? How much do we value the lives of those we love? There's nothing greater than that. Our life includes everything. And without our life, everything has no value whatsoever. Nothing has any meaning without our life. And our soul is our eternal identity, our true self. principle. The order of my Guru is my life and soul. So anyone, however uncoordinated he may be, who's assisting him, Srila Prabhupada considers that devotee his life and soul. He said, you are all representatives of my Guru Maharaj. And then he would cry and said, thank you for assisting me in carrying out the mission of my Guru. So we were grateful. But even more so was Srila Prabhupada grateful. And the spiritual master is representing Krishna. How is Krishna grateful? When we think of Krishna, we can understand Krishna's love in a very tangible way through those who love Krishna, who are interacting with us in this world. But in doing so, we gradually receive the revelation, the understanding, and the experience of Krishna's infinite love. Krishna is supremely grateful to any spirit soul lost in this Maya who turns toward him. Yada yada yidharmasya glanirabhavati bhavata. Krishna descends from the spiritual world into this ghastly place of material existence. The spiritual world, Goloka, Vaikuntha, everyone's a pure devotee of Krishna. Everyone perfectly cooperates with one another. Everyone honors and respects and loves one another. Everyone has ecstatic love for everyone else in the service of Krishna. Can you imagine such a family? It's hard to get such a family in one little house where everyone unconditionally loves each other with no envy whatsoever in the service of God. In the spiritual world, there's unlimited people. Not only humans, but all the trees and plants and birds and animals, and all varieties of every living being in the spiritual world has complete honor and love for one another because they see Krishna in each other. If you were living in a place, would you want to come here where people are fighting and people are envious and people are exploitative? But yet Krishna comes again and again and again. That's unconditional love. And he stays in our hearts. He has to listen to all our thoughts. He has to listen to all our words. He has to see all our activities. And he never forgets them either. Krishna's totally transcendental, but he's so loving and caring. He's in the heart of a hog when the hog is eating stool and enjoying it like anything. And fighting ferociously other hogs over who eats the wet stool. Krishna's in the heart. He descends from Goloka Vrindavan to be there because he loves every living entity so infinitely. they see how Krishna in the heart loves every living entity, and how as their father and mother he feels for them as they're trying to enjoy in so many ways that are causing harm and pain to others. And therefore, devotee, on behalf of Krishna, we're so grateful to Krishna. You have rescued me. And just like you're so mercifully rescued me out of your love, you want to rescue everyone. So let me help you. How grateful is Krishna for help, for anyone who helps. Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, he poised himself as a fruit seller. He said, I have these fruits of prema bhakti. And these fruits are so good that if anyone eats one fruit, they will be completely satisfied for all of eternity. Can you imagine such a fruit? We're a little satisfied. But if there's some anxiety going on, then we're not really so satisfied eating it. And after we eat it, the satisfaction goes away real fast, almost instantly. But the fruit of Krishna Prema, Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu promised anyone who eats the one fruit will be ecstatically satisfied in love for Krishna for the rest of eternity. And he said, I have so many fruits. How many can I distribute with 2 hands? Lord Chaitanya presented it, how much I will be grateful and pleased to anyone who helps me distribute them. And these are people who have rejected him, who are not only envious of him on different levels, but also envious of one another, his children, and hurting each other. That is Krishna's. Lord Chaitanya was so grateful for those who were helping him to share these fruits of prema. So in 1922, Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur was basically, he gave his life to distribute these fruits, and he asked Srila Prabhupada to assist him in distributing these fruits. And we may think, what a glorious relationship. But actually, we have this opportunity for the exact same relationship. Srila Prabhupada has asked all of us to assist him in distributing these fruits. This is the parampara of compassion, and how grateful we are for the opportunity. And actually being happy in this world where there's so many uncertainties, so many pollutions. It's simple, but it's difficult. It's simple because anyone could do it, but it's difficult because we're so conditioned to not do it. In heat or cold, honor or dishonor, pleasure or pain, success or victory, or defeat, failure, health or disease. Whatever may come in this world, if we're grateful for the opportunity, make Krishna and our gurus happy, then we could always be happy. Because our happiness is in how we serve. We're not happy according to our sensual and mental interactions with material energy. And that happiness is not just how much we enjoy the service, but how we're grateful for the opportunity to please our gurus and the Vaishnavas of Krishna. That's so beautiful. That's actually the secret of real peace and love. In the 60s, when Srila Prabhupada came, the younger generation, the counterculture, that was their mantra, peace and love. You have heard. Which is very nice. It's very good aspiration. Srila Prabhupada gave the deepest, most profound and truest understanding. That real peace and love comes through being grateful for the opportunity to serve. Lord Chaitanya, Krishna, God's compassion in this world. To be an instrument of Krishna's love. And that is not something far away. To be an instrument of Krishna's love means to be grateful for the love we have received from Krishna's devotees. And to receive it with deep gratitude. And our gratitude means we make it a priority. We express our life according to that gratitude. That's what it means to receive. And we share it with others. And Srila Prabhupada's infinite gratitude to every devotee who helps in his Guru Maharaj's mission. He was once asked, how can we repay you? Srila Prabhupada said, whatever I'm giving you, receive it. Receive it by following it and share it with each other. Sharing it with each other begins with sharing it among other devotees. And then individually and collectively as a community, we share it with the whole group. But if we can't share it with one another in our devotee community, then it's very limited, the quality of what we're sharing with the rest of the world. Srila Prabhupada was so enthusiastic about book distribution. But then when people receive these books, they not only get the book, but they come in contact with a devotee. And they receive Srila Prabhupada and his love for all the acharyas and their wisdom in the book. But then after getting this great blessing, he wanted those people to be able to find shelter in communities of devotees. There was the outreach and then bringing people, opening the doors to communities of devotees where people could be transformed completely. Living experience. Here in Seattle, Washington, I see such beautiful, enthusiastic, wonderful devotees. And you may be thinking, there are so many troubles and so many politics and so many anxieties, so many competitions amongst us. Radhanath Swami doesn't really know what's happening. I like to know that I don't know what's happening. But those are all small things, actually. By Sri Prabhupada's grace, what we do know is what's happening is you have this opportunity to rise above all these other things and be united in gratitude to Srila Prabhupada. Because actually when we fight one another, whatever anyone may try to say to justify, when we fight one another, unless it's really on a very high level of bhakti, then it's an expression of not being grateful to Srila Prabhupada. Because if we're not grateful for those who are serving Srila Prabhupada, how are we grateful to Srila Prabhupada? And if we are grateful to each other, even with our differences, and we try to resolve it on this higher level, then we're actually expressing real gratitude. And to the degree we're grateful, we can actually receive within our hearts and our souls, and our lives can change. And then we can truly be instruments to do wonderful service. That's why I'm seeing this wonderful potential in all of you, and the sincerity of so many to be striving to do like this. Within Srila Prabhupada's movement, we're all just trying to assist Prabhupada in the mission of his Guru Maharaj. And there are so many God brothers, God sisters who may have disciples and all of that. And it's not that, in one sense, there's a very personal, intimate feeling that this is my Guru. But then, on a deeper level, what will please my Guru? To actually honor, respect, and learn to love every devotee of all the different gurus within ISKCON, because we're all striving to please Srila Prabhupada. And that will make our movement effulgent and wonderful. In Lord Chaitanya's movement, there's so many different devotees. In one sense, Madhavendra Puri, he initiated Advaitacharya. He was the guru for Nityananda Prabhu. He was the guru of Gadadhar Pandit. He was the guru of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. And then we see, as the generations passed, so many were initiating and so many were gurus of so many others. And the six Goswamis and Narottam and Srinivas and Shyamananda, everyone was truly brothers and sisters, because everyone was trying to serve the mission of Lord Chaitanya together. And everyone was grateful for everyone who was helping. Servant of the servant has so many meanings. But to be grateful to those who are assisting the persons we're grateful to as part of being servant of the servant. To be grateful and wanting to serve Srila Prabhupada. We're grateful to Prabhupada and want to serve him. Similarly, we're grateful to those who are serving him and we want to serve them. Service in bhakti is not just a mechanical process of doing what we're told. Of course, we have to do what we're told, but that's just a preliminary setting so that we can actually follow real bhakti, which is we're reciprocating. We're reciprocating with our Guru's love by serving one another. When I came into this beautiful home today, I had no idea what to speak about. I had no idea what was happening. Because initiations are very intense for little people like me. Yesterday was intense. And last night was intense. And then today morning was very intense. Giving Gayatri mantras to so many. And when I'm coming here, and I prayed to the beautiful deities. Srila Prabhupada, Bhaktisiddhanta Saraswati Thakur, Gaur Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, Thakur Bhakti Vinod, Gaur Kishore Das, Jagannath Das Babaji Maharaj, the 6 Goswamis of Vrindavan Dham, and Gaur Nitai and Jagannath Balaram Subhadra. And I prayed, what should I say? And I got no ideas. I was completely blank. And I sat in this chair and I started talking. I didn't know what I was going to say or what I was saying, but please forgive me, but this is who I am. And I'm sincerely grateful to you. Thank you. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna. Devi. She was so happy with you and your good life. And I remember in earlier days, whenever I would come to Seattle, Yamuna Devi Prabhu would come from Sharanagati with Dinatarani Devi, and sometimes Janaki Devi would come up from Portland, and we'd be sitting in the temple room of Seattle. We'd have prasad together. It's very special. Because Yamuna Devi and Dinatarani Devi, the history of their surrender to Srila Prabhupada, their gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, is forever a sacred history of our parampara. Imagine 2 sisters from Oregon. I think originally they're from Montana and Oregon. They meet Srila Prabhupada. Started the temple in San Francisco. Established a world movement in London. Yamuna Devi went to India and served under the most difficult conditions, never complaining. Just trying to please Srila Prabhupada. Her kirtans, her cooking, her deity worship, her example, her everything. And seeing how she so much loved the devotees, they were pleased with devotees and grateful to the devotees. Seeing these interactions, how Srila Prabhupada was grateful to Yamuna Devi and how she was, her life and soul was her gratitude and her reciprocation of Srila Prabhupada. And when we come to Seattle, to see them coming and joining, for me, this project is very, very holy place. Over the last 40, 50 years, there's only a couple places in the world that Janaki and Jamuna Devi would come together. One of Srila Prabhupada's temples. This is one. And Malati Devi would come and join. And Shamsundar Prabhu would sometimes come and join. And I'm remembering we are taking prasad in wonderful devotees' home. And Janaki Devi presented me a beautiful handmade embroidered cloth bag that she made with her own hands. And I looked inside, and there was a note describing the contents. Do you all know what's inside? Yeah. This was presented to me here in Seattle. I looked inside and I read the note that she wrote, and she had beautiful handwriting. And Janaki Devi was the one and only girl who was initiated at the first initiation of this kind. She's the first female disciple of Srila Prabhupada. The first initiation, she was then married to Mukunda Goswami Maharaj. And within that little bag that she handmade was the description. In 1966, Srila Prabhupada gave her this pair of kartals, 26-second album. And Srila Prabhupada had played them. And then when she moved to San Francisco at the end of 1966, Srila Prabhupada came in January of 1967, which was just almost 1966. And they started a little storefront on Frederick Street in Haight-Ashbury. And there, above this little storefront, they had apartments. And Mukunda Goswami and who was then Mukunda Das Prabhu and Janaki Devi, they lived in one apartment, and Srila Prabhupada lived in another apartment. And Srila Prabhupada would come to Janaki's apartment, for prasad often. And Allen Ginsberg, they met in that apartment, very historic meetings, recordings of that conversation. And then they went to the Avalon Ballroom and had that mantra rock dance. used to give Srila Prabhupada those kartals. Janaki Devi would give Srila Prabhupada in San Francisco those kartals to play from time to time, and he led so many kirtans with them. And she kept them for all these 50 years. And here in Seattle, she gave those to us. And I'm too shy to play them. If any of you have been to Radha Gopinath Temple in Mumbai, you have seen them. Because right on Srila Prabhupada's Vyasa-san, we have a beautiful casing with glass on the top, with teakwood around it. And inside of those, right at Srila Prabhupada's feet, his Vyasa-san are those kartals. With a brass sign describing that these were gifted by Janaki Devi, Srila Prabhupada's first female disciple. So as you can see, I obviously came here with nothing to say. That's why I'm saying all these things. I'm very grateful to be here in this very holy place of Seattle. Really grateful to Damodar Prasad Prabhu for taking such a wonderful responsibility, leading the temple. And the other temple president?
Namavrata
Prabhu. So grateful to Nama. I'm sorry, I'm not familiar with all details, but I'm so grateful to Damodar Prasad Prabhu and Namavrata Prabhu for taking such good responsibility, helping to lead the temple. Profound gratitude to my beloved senior godbrother, Harivilas Prabhu. Through so many ups and downs of sociological challenges, he's just remained always completely devoted to each and every one of you and helping you in your Krishna consciousness and helping this mission. And we see over the years beautiful temples. Balaji is such a nice temple. And Radha Nila Madhava, that's Radha Nila Madhava's temple is so wonderful. It's really beautiful, actually. It's very special. But what makes it so beautiful and special is you. There's so much I can say on so many subjects of my gratitude to all. Devotees here from Utah. Yes? Salt Lake City? So grateful you've come so long. Thank you very much. Is there one or two questions? Yes, Prabhu.
So how do we take forward in the next generation? Srila Prabhupada, the disciples are no more. And how do we stay together and make progress and take this movement forward?
By sincerely following with determination, enthusiasm, humility, were thinking when Srila Prabhupada left? Everyone was thinking, how will this movement carry on without Srila Prabhupada? Srila Prabhupada left us in 1977. The senior most devotees in our movement have been devotees 11 years. And they were hardly less than 1%. The majority of the devotees of Srila Prabhupada's disciples were only actually practicing devotees and knew Prabhupada between 3 and 5 years. I mean, I first met Srila Prabhupada in 1971. That's just 6 years before Srila Prabhupada left. And most devotees came after that. Our movement really started growing a lot around 70, 72, 73, 74, 75. Senior most devotees in our movement when Srila Prabhupada left were like 31 years old, 35. Most devotees were in their 20s when Srila Prabhupada departed. And Srila Prabhupada was so actively involved in everything, empowering each devotee and pleasing each devotee. Radhanath Swami Maharaj, he was just a devotee in our movement for about 1 year. But he got to serve as Prabhupada's personal servant for that year. And then Srila Prabhupada left. So can you imagine how these devotees were thinking, how are we going to go on? But because of devotees' gratitude to Srila Prabhupada, we put his will, his desire first and foremost. And today, so many of you are devotees for many years. Madhava Chandra Prabhu, how many years have you been devotee?
2004.
Huh?
21 years.
21 years. So you would have been like a grandfather senior devotee. So as far as time practicing since at the time Prabhupada left. So all of you have, because you're following those who are directly inspired, instructed, and empowered by Srila Prabhupada, you're getting exactly the same experience, the same message, the same power is coming through Parampara. But you've had so many more years and so much more maturity to actually assimilate what Krishna consciousness is. So how will you carry on when Srila Prabhupada disciples are no more in this world? The same way Srila Prabhupada's disciples did when Srila Prabhupada, by taking very, very seriously and making the ultimate priority of our life to assist in this wonderful mission through our own spiritual practice, through our own character, through our values, and through our enthusiasm and determination and willing to sacrifice. Does that answer your question?
Yes, Madam.
Another question? Yes, Prabhu.
Maharaj, you're coming after 9 years and we are very, very happy, very ecstatic. And the whole congregation seems to be like in a high level of energy, receiving you and doing the public event. So the question on everyone's mind is how we can request Maharaj to come every year or again.
See him over right through the window? See him?
Auspicious.
That's the answer. Be dear to each other. Be scared to fear away. Thank you very much. Srila Prabhupada ki jai. Anti Koti Vaishnava ki jai.
His Holiness Radhanath.